to impact the scholars with this. My scholarship can never exist.
Ain't no. What's going on? Welcome to the new episode of Fourth Side. This is your boy Artie talking to you.
Yeah. This your boy Wills.
Happy New Year's to you and yours. 2019 is officially here. We are recording this on Friday, January the 4th. I know that's a little bit different, but that is because our usual recording space, Coy, is busy on Saturday. So, of course, the whole crew, we are getting together on a Friday to record, and we have a great episode for you in store for episode 67. Of course, before we get into it, gotta do my temperature check. How's everybody feeling in the room?
Great.
How's the first week of 2019 for you bums?
I wish we was recording this yesterday. I could have been like, man, it's only my third day out here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out. Oh snap! This is white chocolate.
Yeah, I know.
But
let me know.
I know it's good. I was just pleasantly surprised.
I'm gonna say so far productive.
It's a little crunchier than I expected.
It's cookies.
Productive.
I got paid, so I'm happy.
We are about to hit some overtime next week.
Ooh.
Yes.
Where I get
$1.
Right?
I got like 2-3 checks coming in next week.
Ooh, multiple incomes. I like
Multiple incomes, brother.
Beautiful.
But one thing too is the fact that I don't know if it's usually like this, but the first week of the new year for this year went by really fast.
Yeah, it did.
Like I really woke up this morning and was like, yo, it's really Friday?
Yeah.
I was like,
first
oh,
Friday
really?
of the year.
To be honest, I think for me, part of it was the alcohol. So
Yeah.
I actually
Niggas wasn't.
When I went to work on Wednesday, it felt like a Monday.
Niggas wasn't really focused.
You was pretty chill, Taylor?
Yeah, I was with my family.
Alright, hold on, let me go across the room as well. Will's, I'm gonna say you for last because Will's story was just incredible for New Year's. His story was, my man was out here looking like Kodak in New York. A whole bunch of zoom ins. Oh, let's get this money. They in the parking lot right across the street singing Meeks championships. Yeah, take it back. I know it's a good night for Will's because Will's, right? Like if Will's posts 10 to 20 things on his story, it's usually of his beautiful daughter. So like, I've gotten that new rebrand from Will's, the new father wave. So I get that. But when I see it's a party thing, the pre-game, the actual game, and I see the post-game footage, I said, oh man, he had a night. I
usually don't post that much.
When I go on Instagram every 20 minutes and Will's is the first circle I see, full red, that new, I was like, ooh, what do you got here? Whole gang got mad appearances. Will's messed around and released a full album on the story. Taylor, what about you though? You and the girls that went out?
Well, half of my friends went to the city, they went to Taj. But I just didn't feel like going. It was raining.
Yeah, the rain was,
So I
Rain
just
was
stayed
low.
home and I lit off my, white Zinfandel. And I just watched the ball drop from TV and I just kept listening. And I went to the bar after, just very mainstream.
Shout out to all you guys went to the bars, man. Spent that $100.
Oh, see,
So
I didn't do that
It
though.
wasn't that much because I went out here.
I didn't pay.
Well, we're gonna get to me last, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't pay.
AK, what about you?
Me, let's see. I caught the bottle. I was working that day, so I had to cop the bottle beforehand. Came back home.
Which bottle you caught?
Oh, Douce.
Hey, you got that holy water.
The holy water, Douce all the time. You feel me? I'm Douce boys out here. But caught the Douce. Went home. Downstairs wasn't going out because it was raining. That's man music. I ain't watch the ball drop. I just waited till that shit hit 12. I played Sicko Mode and Yay by Burna Boy. Get my year started off right.
Respect.
Exactly. So it was pretty chill. I don't really know much to say get drunk.
Yeah.
Wills, what about you, man? We need that play-by-play. We need that
Facts.
breakdown.
It was actually like compared to
You lied!
it was actually much better than last year.
Yeah.
And I spent less money. Like, oh my god. But yeah, man, we was just chilling. We actually didn't know what we was gonna do. We all just met up at one of our boys' crib. We brought our bottles there. We was just chilling, drinking, waiting for the ball to drop. Shout out to Brantley because he got too drunk before he even hit 11 o'clock. Hilarious. Then after that, we just got drunk. The more people that came, we just kept saying, what are we doing? Where are we going? Like, we got to do something. So we came out here to the Ave. I'm like, yo, I hope they're not charging an arm and a leg, but we went to Hudson.
Okay.
They only charged us like $10, and it wasn't bad. Yeah, we had fun in there, seen a few people. After that, I went back to the crib, was drinking more, you know, smoking some marijuana.
Some marijuana.
It was just a good time. We were just chilling, listening to the songs we wanted to hear. I think I told people to play that intro by me like 3 times. That's what you seen us.
Yeah.
And Brandon's girl was recording on my Snap. And I like went to her like before my part. I kind of tapped her like, keep recording. Cause I had to get my part in, man. Other than that, yeah, it was a good night. It was fun. I told you like the next day I just chilled, watched TV. I don't really watch TV, so I was watching TV, like movies with commercials. It was kind of blowing my. It made me want to stop it. I'm like, nah, let me try it. But yeah, it was cool. That was it, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Keep going.
I sent out my text to. I don't know if I text you guys. I'm sorry if I didn't.
It's alright. No, I texted the group chat. No, I let the voice know. I was like, I know I'm being extra, so I preferenced it. And I was like, yo, be safe. Yep. I think I just said, be safe, have fun, love you guys. All right, later.
Oh, but yeah, I just sent out my text messages to like my mom and stuff. That was it. I think just to my mom.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think this year for me, as I go into my night, which is pretty boring, I think I set an all-time low for like the amount of people I texted Happy New Year. Like I did, because I think I usually have done like 20 to 30 people I've been in somewhat of constant contact with, which means like within a half an hour, it's like a whole bunch of Happy New Years and stuff. The one thing I didn't like was a couple people I did text. I forgot because iPhones want to be so extra. So when they text me a Happy New Year and I opened up the message, my phone started vibrating and it's all that. I'm like, yo, don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, my night was really chill. Like I don't really do much when this New Year's. Like I go see the ball drop here in downtown White Plains. And then I usually go for like a nice little walk just to see the vibes, to see smiling faces. But it was raining, so I said, yo, F that. That shit is both. And what was trash AK, was in the area in downtown White Plains by Main Street where the ball dropped. I don't think people were allowed to bring their umbrellas in.
What?
Because here's what happened. I walked, right? I had my umbrella. Shout out to my dad for leaving a nice umbrella at home by accident, so I took that. So I go, and I see the fact that there's people there trying to get in. And, alright, cool. All right. So I go to the freaking, to like this, one of the like 4 entrances that we have to check in. I go, and I see that there's other people from me trying to get with the umbrellas, and they start walking away. And I see a big like garbage pail with umbrellas that people's kept. I'm like,
fuck no, man.
I'm like, oh hell no. I'm like, I know you're not about to tell me that I have to leave my umbrella with y'all in order to get in. So I wasn't gonna do it. So I literally stood outside the fence, just watching.
It was like a safety precaution. They did that in the city too.
I hated that. Like, no way.
Yeah. So people had like ponchos.
No way, bro. Especially raining and cold. But after I saw the ball drop, I just went to Star Diner. I brought in my first meal at Star Diner. That's all I did, honestly. Got my signature bacon, egg, and cheese. I figured, I think that's only right. You know what I mean? Start the new year off with a couple bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. You know what I mean? With salt and pepper. You know, shout out to Poppy, you know, for holding me down. You know what I mean? For just cooking it. You know what it is? I think they cooked it with love. You know,
they
start no, they always cook it with love, but like they rarely cooked it with love for the first meal of the year. So I was like, damn, this is wavy. Shout out to Star Diner for helping me bring it in just right after I saw the ball drop. And before we move on, once again, this is episode 67 of The Foresight, first episode of the new year. You got myself, Arden, with Wills across from me, Taylor and AK to the right of me. Follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram is starting to grow in a nice fashion over these last couple weeks, man. I'm starting to see that, which is nice. Listen to us on SoundCloud and iTunes. We're working on the Spotify links and all that good jazz. And I also want to give a huge, huge shout out to It's The Real Eric and Jeff, they gave us here at Foresight a huge shout out on their podcast earlier this week.
I saw that.
And that was incredible because those guys, they're great folks in hip hop media. They've interviewed everybody that's anybody. So for them to shout out our podcast and to acknowledge the fact that we all working on something together, which was really, really dope. So thank you to It's The Real. Thank you guys for the support. Now let's go ahead and get into the show. I realized that sicko mode now has a new meaning because R. Kelly is the true meaning of sicko mode. Straight like that, we're gonna get into it. Take that. So last night, again, on Thursday night, let me be a little more specific. Last night, Twitter came together to watch a new episode of the Lifetime doc series, Surviving R. Kelly, where pretty much it is a multi-part series. It's gonna air over, what is it, AK, 3 or 4 nights?
I think it's like 6 episodes, right?
I think it's 6 at most, maybe 4. But it's pretty much where it details R. Kelly's life, but more so his involvement with women that were underage. Because as we all know, for the last 20 years or so of R. Kelly's life, he's been alleged to have, what's the word? I forgot the word. Relations, yes. Relations with underage women, most notably the late great Aaliyah, along with plenty of others. And I'm just gonna get into it, man. I watched the first 2 episodes this morning, and I was just sick to my stomach, yo. Like, I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I think the details that I heard from these women who were recounting details from their relations with him when they were even 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17 years old. It was
literally was no 18.
Yeah, no 18. It was just ridiculous, and I believe each and every single one of them, man. I do. I mean, for the most part, if any person comes to you, especially a woman, tells you that they've been, in those situations, you have to believe them, because I think the percentage is 97% of them are telling the truth.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's 70, it's not like it's 60, it's 97% of the women when they're telling you that they've been abused, raped, whatever. Yo, they're not lying. That's too serious of a thing to say. But yeah, it was just so wild because it's like this dude not only went out of his way to basically form a system of how to handle these chicks and to bounce to the next one, but the music was inspired by these dealings. So like the songs that we have sang, especially among black people, for the last basically 30 years. Graduations, funerals, parties, weddings have all been pretty much inspired by a dealing with a minor. You know what I mean? Age ain't nothing but a number was really about minors. What's the other joke you said with Michael Jackson? You Are Not Alone is about R. Kelly writing about a minor that he impregnated that soon had a miscarriage.
Yo,
that Michael Jackson had the same.
Hey, you know what? I was saying this earlier, so I just want to point it out. Niggas said Michael Jackson definitely put on the red shirt for that nigga.
Something about to happen to that.
Exactly.
R. Kelly about to turn into Rocky real quick.
When Mike Jack put that red shirt on, it's lit. That's all I gotta say.
Big B, Mike. Big B. King Slime MJ.
Facts.
But yeah, before I pass this on, I actually want to pass this to Taylor, because if there's anything about Taylor that's been good about Taylor for when she's been on the show, and especially now as a permanent fixture of the show, is the fact that when we do talk about relationships and have the female aspect of things needed to be addressed, Taylor usually comes through in the clutch. So Taylor, when you think about just these dealings with R. Kelly and then these women coming out and being survivors indeed, along with some folks unfortunately still having a lack of understanding in regards to sexual abuse and these kind of encounters, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, I really think it comes down to what I was saying, like manipulation, because R. Kelly really seems like he knows how to make these girls, not even women, girls like feel, wanted, appreciated, and the whole facade of him being older and things. And it's just kind of sad, because
It's disgusting.
yeah, like it's like you're really like breaking down barriers with like him and the girls, but it's not in a healthy way. And it's like, what is your real intentions or your real motives behind it? And then to just have the songs and like be the inspiration. When things happen for the inspiration for the song, it's like you kind of have to be really sick-minded to do something like that. So.
I know he was like abused like as a child.
Yeah, he was molested.
He was molested.
So it's like a cycle.
So
Yeah.
so I don't understand, but I guess people say like when you're molested, you end
It's
up.
a high chance.
Yeah, it's a high chance you're gonna become a molester.
Hurt people.
But
You ain't lying about that, brother. Hurt people.
that's true. but
Yes.
That was like really disgusting.
Yes.
Like when, bro, I don't know, man.
And there was other parts too before I passed this to AK. Other parts of the 2 episodes that was just like wow, like freaking. He kept coming back to his old high school. They hang out around the high school.
Yeah.
And pick up chicks.
And then he pulled up to the McDonald's. Like,
Yeah.
And you know what's all crazy about that? I remember because I follow like a couple like artists from Chicago. A lot of times, maybe like before this whole shit came out, maybe like a few years ago, they always used to talk about how that nigga R. Kelly used to be putting up to these spots
Yeah.
and just chilling there.
Niggas said like
Man, niggas knew this shit. Man, niggas seen, especially like if you lived in Chicago at the time. Man, niggas knew this shit. Man, niggas seen this shit. And we're talking about like, obviously they kids, so they probably really can't really do much about it. You feel me?
Yeah.
But they're seeing it, they're witnessing it, and
And something don't seem
They
right.
said like I seen like even before this came out, they used to be like R. Kelly like loved McDonald's and he used to always pull up to McDonald's and have concerts. Like one time after one of his shows, he pulled up to McDonald's and had a concert in the drive-thru. Like
That is
like he's
ridiculous.
crazy. But then there's another crazy story. Fact, I gotta find it. I hope I can find it. Send it to you guys. It has nothing to do with this, but it's kind of funny. Fat Joe said that one time he went to a spot in Chicago and it was like a fighting spot, like you fight for money, like you like real fighting. And R. Kelly was down there fighting niggas for money, and he won.
R. Kelly was down there, sick nigga.
Yeah, like,
He's down there, sick nigga. Sick nigga. Yo.
he needs help.
Yo, I gotta find this.
Son,
I heard about this like
why
2 years
is that
ago.
funny?
I tell you, son, that nigga was help.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in oh yeah. But yeah, just to bring it back, is that part, and AK and I actually talked about this before the show when we was walking here. I think the nastiest part of it all, and this is where, we're somewhat serious now, but I really want to get more serious about it, is the amount of adults that saw what was about to play out that didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I spoke with AK about the fact that I think one of R. Kelly's first producers was saying things such as like, I was hearing how Robert will drive down to Kentwood Academy to hang out with these girls and pick them up. And I was wondering, like, what would he be doing that? Like, he's much older, it's been years. And then it always ends with him going, hey, I just left it alone.
It's like,
What?
Yeah,
Like
like,
when they,
yeah.
they said, they said they used to play pranks like on each other on the tour bus, and this is around the time when Aaliyah was
Yeah.
and they didn't really know at this point like what him and Aaliyah had going on. They just thought like Aaliyah was just cool with him and like they were just cool. So they went to go play a prank on him, and they said they opened the door and R. Kelly was having sex with Aaliyah, like, and they just like closed the door. Like, I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, fucking close the
Yeah.
door and
Like,
shit.
it's like, what do you so nobody thought, like,
Hold on, let me yo.
Aaliyah's mom.
Yeah.
This nigga is over here.
Wow.
Uncle Harry, since Aaliyah's a manager, I thought I'd let you know.
No, but I remember they had that movie of Aaliyah that didn't do so well, but they made it seem like her parents weren't actually supportive of her and R. Kelly's relationship. So.
It was just nasty, and then also his personal assistant, and I really mean this, yo. Son, if R. Kelly, if there's ever a day for R. Kelly to be brought to justice, like the assistant Demetrius Smith think is his name, Demetrius. You need to go to jail too, big fella. Because
Yes, he does.
this man literally saw everything, was told everything, and you just like
Nigga,
did nothing. Kels went up to you and told you like, yo, Aaliyah's in trouble because I think I got her pregnant. And you didn't do nothing other than, okay, when Kels went to marry her, you forged Aaliyah's age to 18.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Nasty. Like, nobody thought, yo, let's call her family or something with him. Like, it was just too overwhelming to watch because it was just like, damn, like, is this how we really moving? Like, y'all not seeing this? You a part of the crew that's picking up the chicks from high school. You're part of the crew that's going to freaking to the mall to get chicks. Like you know what he's doing.
Like, bro, they said that, like, the girls, like, people got to the point where they just knew it was R. Kelly posted in front of, like, McDonald's or the high school because he came in the same truck all the time. And they'd just be like, oh, that's Kelly, that's R. Kelly. Like,
It was really nasty to watch, man. Just because it also just provided us with just a more harsh reality that is just like, especially just again in the African American community, man. There's so much that we have to work on. Like last year, it was a big focus on mental health in regard to the fact that like, yo, black men, you're not soft, you're not a quote unquote pussy for expressing yourself and being open and crying, you know, believing more black women in their struggles. I think Malcolm X said it best. There isn't a more disrespected person than a black woman in America, and there isn't a person that isn't cared for as less as a black woman in America. And it's like, this documentary really is highlighting that. Because again, it's like all of y'all seen this, yo. Like all of y'all heard of this, yet not one stepped up to the place to help out. And now we got shorties out here living with 20 years worth of psychological damage. Like, do you not know what that does to the community?
One of the girls said she was like 17, I think she was Hispanic, where she wanted to be a singer.
Yeah, Lizzie.
Yeah, he met her like at the mall. What happened? He gave her like mono or something.
Yeah.
Mono he gave her was like,
she was hospitalized.
She bad, and and her body was paralyzed. Like she couldn't move nothing in her body for 2 weeks, and she was like, I was in ICU for 2 weeks. She said this nigga sent a check to her mom for $1,000, and like she never heard.
You know how much he paid Aaliyah to not say nothing?
How much?
$100.
$100?
$100.
You know what I'm saying?
Son,
It just
they said man's paid Aaliyah 100 buckaroos to not say nothing.
Bro, he met it's
It was just very nasty, but I want to, like, before we move on, take the comment to a bigger point because there was other parts of the comment that was mentioned a lot, like on the timeline, because it was also about what black males go through who have just far too young sexual experiences. So, like, Wayne was brought up on the timeline a lot. Usher with the whole Diddy thing was brought up a lot. And let me say this too. Again, one of my favorite quotes in life is honesty is key. Of course, as a guy, I used to think, for example, right, when you hear those teacher have sex with the student stories, I used to think a while ago, like, oh man, yo, that's stupid, dumb as hell.
Especially when you're growing up,
you know, like, you're like, man, you dumb as hell. Like, you know what I would do if I could have got the cheeks at 15 from my history teacher? Like,
that's the thing.
But or we used to be like, yo, that kid is stupid. Like, why would he ruin a good thing?
Yeah,
but when you really look at it now, it's kind of like, yo, you see what it does too. Because that's effed up too. Because your boy Wayne is a prime example. Like,
I lost my virginity already.
And it's funny too,
but that's different between you losing it and then
being
you
forced to lose.
Yeah, like you wasn't molested when I was at 14, 15 at that time.
But the way Wayne even explained it, he was like, I loved it. Like
Wayne was molested, bro. Wayne too. You was molested, dog.
I love you.
You was molested. And you almost had a little twist molested, talking about, I'm gonna do you like baby, then be me. Like for real, like I'm sorry, Taylor, but that's what the video said.
No, I know, I saw it.
Shut that white little dick.
When I like
Like
see,
kissing little
like,
twists when you
when I
pull
like
up
ask
to the
guys, like, oh, like, what'd you guys lose your virginity? A lot of them say like young ages, like 14, 15.
I always remember the oldest age out of everybody.
And it's always an older woman too.
Yeah.
It's never like a woman.
It's
So it's just kind of like, in a sense, I feel like that is so.
Because for guys, it starts as a fantasy. But the thing is, that fantasy ain't really as smooth as it is. Because a lot of times,
Nigga, that shit was whack.
older chicks, like for real, could be they can be predators too.
Yeah.
And they can be very
Cougars.
controlling and demanding of a young kid. Like,
It makes you just think like, yo, like, the way I see it, girls can probably get any dick they want, honestly. Like, if without even trying, right?
Yeah.
So what the fuck are you doing going to a little ass nigga?
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
like that's
To me, it's something, you know.
I think they want to be
You have like a
controlled.
problem. Like,
Yeah.
like there's some, I don't want to talk about, there's some lady or whatever that I know or whatever, and she like has like a crush on me like since I don't know, I was like 18 or whatever. And she's just like
She's
now
older.
pushing like she's like 40 now.
so
or whatever.
you dealing with a predator.
But like she's like into like young dudes because I seen like the dudes she messed with or whatever before they're like young. So I'm like, oh, this lady got like a problem. And then I know like I had dealt with like somebody in her family, like one of her nieces, and she was telling me, she's like, yeah, now my aunt, she's like, she like loves young boys, blah blah. And my mom like, the niece didn't know, but I was like in my mind, I'm like, oh, so that's why she always be like, hit me up, and when she sees me, it's always like mad flirty and shit like that. So he's like, you know, my mom like loves the young boys and shit like that. So there's people out here that just have like problems, like serious problems. But R.KELLY, that nigga's a monster.
Yeah.
Yo, and there's another thing that just like I'm gonna pop up on the TL, and I remember like with Timberland, they talking about how he was like, yeah, I was in love with Aaliyah, but you know, she was so young, I couldn't do anything about it, so I just played the big brother role.
Who said that?
Timberland.
Yes.
Yeah, so in my mind, I'm like, you know, okay, you know, Aaliyah, okay, she's young, that's pretty weird. But at the same time,
It's pretty weird.
but it is. But at the same time, you like, I know better than to cross that line. So I'ma chill. I'm gonna be your older brother. I'm gonna like watch out for you in the way. So wisely take. He's the only one around that's able to be like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna pursue you in that way. You my baby
Because
sister.
he has morals.
Yeah.
R.KELLY has no morals.
It was nasty. But yeah,
Nigga should have just waited till she hit 18, like if that was the case.
that's still nasty too. Like,
And then it's kind of creepy.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like,
In the cut, every birthday party.
yeah. That's why. Remember, it was only a few years ago, or it felt like a few years ago. That was the point with that was the thing with Kylie Jenner
and Tiger.
Like that whole wait until she's 18. It's like, yo, you freaking like you in the Raptors like Sting just waiting to drop back.
But yeah, I mean my ex or whatever, when I was dealing with her, I was like 21, she was 17, but I didn't have sex with her until she was 18. That's because I was just scared.
But I also feel like even that sounds and appears to be way more better than you just like being like R. Kelly-ish or Tiger-ish with them. But I also want to say too, this is the last thing I want to say so before you move on and talk about Meek and why.
Okay, yeah, and then I want to also say I'm disgusted that the joint is 6 parts because I thought it was 3 because I watched both parts that you told me to. So I watched and then I'm like, okay, they're gonna talk about the girl getting pissed on. So then I realized that's gonna go to be the next part. So then I realized it like, oh yeah, it's 6 hours and like it's 6 parts. I'm like, damn, how much did he do?
Yeah.
He's disgusting.
Hold on, before we just like go to the Meek shit, I just want to say, fuck Ebro, because clearly that nigga wasn't genuine.
Facts.
Right? Talking about we don't condone sexual assault up here, but meanwhile this nigga defending R. Kelly. Fuck Junior Lucas, because clearly that nigga's a dickhead. Just fuck him.
What you say?
Nigga was like, he basically put up a tweet basically saying, yo, R. Kelly, see all these niggas trying to do you right now. Just keep your head up. Please don't harm yourself. Just know these niggas just gonna pass soon. That's me just paraphrasing.
Yeah. And before we get into that, that goes to show me that
That's
the
what
Boondocks,
That's why Tory
Oh.
bodied me.
the Boondocks 10 years
That's why Tory
ago.
bodied you, Jonah.
Aaron McGruder's a prophet.
to be said is this.
Aaron McGruder is a fucking prophet, son.
We need to bring that out.
And he's
Just
The people looking for the rally.
oh my god.
What the hell is wrong with you people? Every famous nigga that gets arrested is not Nelson Mandela? Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men. We all know the nigga can sing. But what happened to standards? What happened to bare minimum?
Big facts.
You a fan of R. Kelly? You want to help R. Kelly? Then get some counseling for R. Kelly. Introduce him to some older women. Hire his kid court. But don't pretend like the man is a hero. And stop the damn dancing. Act like you got some goddamn sense, people. Damn. Don't play around here. Whoa. Hey, you with the afro. Give it a rest. Beat it. Put the music back on.
That's how it is.
That was good back then.
That's how it is. Right? We just, like, we've been hearing about shit about R. Kelly, but
Yeah.
niggas just be brushing it
The
off.
only thing though, like, it's too,
But,
it's too late for that nigga to get help though. That nigga's gotta go away.
Yeah, he's out of there.
They gotta throw the book at him like they did Bill Cosby. That's simple.
Right.
Get him the fuck out of here.
But to talk about something on brighter terms, I wanted to talk about Meek and what Meek did on IG that had the timeline talking and getting in their relationship bag. So
That's what I'm gonna start doing it every now. Also,
Yeah.
19, hide their faces.
yeah, that's right, hiding faces.
Take a shorty, take a look at my shorty. You ain't gotta know how she look like.
Yep. Hey,
Just put a little smiley face on there, you know, put a little heart on her face.
besides that, remember, hey, my man told y'all Scorpion, you can take this. I wasn't hiding my girl from the world. I was hiding the world from my girl.
That's
You can
simple.
do
There you
that.
go.
Meek had a joint that he posted in Miami on a ski boat, and he covered her face with an emoji. And I say that because it sparked a big convo on the timeline and in the comments about, yo, like, if you're not gonna show what people are, if you're not gonna show your shorty off or your man off or whatever, it's like, why post them? It's very clear, ladies and gentlemen. It's called privacy.
Yeah.
It's called none of your business. It's called, if I'm posting a fire joint that is mine,
Exactly.
I know you cats out there are gonna be thirsty as hell to want to follow and want to get in.
I can tell she's
And-
fine too, but she was thick as hell.
Yup. And even if I trust my my shorty, my woe,
I don't trust
we not gonna get into those positions in the first place. You know what I mean? And that's why I've always said too, like, my next relationship, and it's something I worked on my last one. I just prefer a private relationship. I prefer a shorty that doesn't put much validation on social media applause and people needing to know. It's a comment I actually said before I passed it to Wills a few episodes ago. I said there's a difference between people needing to know that we're in a relationship and people knowing what we're doing. People can know all day and every day that I'm in a relationship. I'll be proud to be in one. But they don't need to know every day.
Yeah.
And dudes don't need to know how they can try to get about following you and hitting you up. Nah, beloved, we're not going to do that.
These niggas be dirty macking.
For
A lot of the best songs in these girls be dirty macking songs, man.
Yeah, nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm not mad at me. I'm really not.
Nah, that's the way you. I'm gonna take pictures
Oh,
of
that's
some
a-
girls and I'm gonna just block their face.
It's about their face out.
Just do it.
But you know what's so funny though? It was funny that
But I heard, cause like I said before the show, I'm not too sure what I told y'all.
you said it was too short.
It was two different girls in the picture because it was two pictures. That's because Tay, he's like a super like
Meek
female fan, and I
our
seen
official Dream Chasers representative.
yeah, and I seen this guy in the shade room comments when I seen it on the shade room, and he writes that's two different girls. Y'all stay woke. I'm like, okay. So I guess it's two different girls. But then I looked, and I think it was because I looked at like bathing suits because she was thick.
Yeah.
And it was like two different colors or whatever. But I don't know, man. You gotta stay private out here, bro.
That's the best way.
Yeah, people are just too nosy.
That's
Once they
fair.
get involved.
Like I was like nobody knew I had a kid.
That's facts.
Yeah, a lot of people hit me up.
I ain't gonna front.
I can just imagine that shit too.
You had a great rollout.
Oh yeah, I didn't know either.
Will's had a great rollout for the kid. Will's had a great, like, Will's, I remember
I
Will's.
wasn't hiding my kid from the world. I was hiding my
See? Thanks, Pusha, for inspiring my man to drop that.
I think I love Scorpion so much.
But now, for real, like, I remember Will's telling me, like, during his initial moments of discovery, like, that's how deep we go back to with that.
And it wasn't even like I was like really trying to hide it. It kind of like it was.
It just popped up.
And it just like happened, and I'm like, oh, what?
Will's and I had a heart to heart. He was like, yo, bro, like, I gotta tell you something like really serious, and he told me. But yeah, man, his rollout, if you follow yo son.
And the crazy thing about it is like a lot of my closest friends didn't know like until my birthday. Like that's how I rolled it out for them, and it still was a secret until like now. Like my birthday was in April. My daughter was born in January. I think only I told Johnny out there. I think Johnny. I told Johnny and my friend Bucks, maybe like two other niggas or whatever.
Including me.
Yeah. So and that was it. I only told like 5 people. Like Brantley, he's like one of my best friends. He didn't know until my birthday. Like this kid DJ, he's my best friend. He didn't know until my birthday.
Was like,
So
what?
I didn't tell nobody, and then like now I just like started posting her, and everybody's like, "Oh, I just thought that was like another niece. Like I thought your brother had another kid." I'm like, "Nah, that's my daughter."
You know, Will's is not with the rah-rah. He's the dog. But, yeah, I just feel like privacy is key. Like, it's not a big deal. I just think, again, when it... Because, you know what? It also makes women hypocritical before I pass this to Taylor to try to elaborate on her side and their hypocritical ways. Why? Here's why. Yeah, because here's why, right? I'm going to speak on it. So they get mad at me or any of us for doing this, right? But like the cover up the face or not really posting. But yet, shorties all day, every day are the masters of the cover up. They'll post the hair. Wait, hold up. They'll post the haircut. They'll post holding hands. The signature driver's seat selfie where you might see just like this part of the hoodie. Or they take a picture of the steering wheel. Yeah. So you know anytime you see a chick in the cars like, yo, she's getting driven by a dude.
And I've been in that predicament where I've gotten pictures taken with my hand.
Hand on the thigh selfies. So it's like, y'all do all of that, but yeah, I'm trying to protect what me and you got. I get rid of
just the way he did it. He flexed like my son on the jet ski. Shorty.
What, shorties don't be flexing? Shorty right over
like on the girls like holding her hand, the guys behind their
trash. Or you take a picture because man's just whipping the Audi, you taking the, you know what I mean? Or the signature selfie video, like, yo.
I remember my son.
Or when they do unveil, it's dudes usually driving, so he's like, she's like, I'm with him, this is me. Yeah, that's slick, man. I'm learning the game.
And then I think they be doing that because they playing it safe because they're like, I don't know what other bitches is fucking with.
Yeah, because they all got haters, right? Y'all all got haters, right?
That is true.
Y'all all got haters. Man, my ex.
If y'all the talking stage, you liking the nigga a lot, you like, I want to post him, but then again, like, I don't know other bitches he's entertaining. I'm gonna post a piece of him. I'm gonna post a piece of him, and that's it.
My ex was on that bull.
I'm not gonna lie. Before in the past, I used to be like, oh, you know, like, why can't he put me up on his Instagram? Like, let me know, like, let people know like who I am. But now I'm more so like, it's not that serious because guys be posting girls and still be talking to other bitches. Like, or that'll be his girlfriend, but still talking to other girls. So Now I'm like, I'm on the privacy way too. Like, not everybody has to be my business.
You also don't need to project your embarrassment. Like, that's the one thing I can't get about Twitter. Like dudes on Twitter are the worst. Because dudes on Twitter really be posting the fact that, like, yo, your shorty got a train ran on her. And you tweeting about it. Like, why? Like, your shorty cheated on you. You know all the details. And now you sharing this with us.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna front, bro. I'm not entertained by this. I feel for you.
Nah, Twitter be twisting like some tragedy porn. Niggas like putting their worst stories on Twitter so they get sympathy. You know?
Yeah, it's like, no.
I seen a story recently on somebody we all know. Literally all of us know.
Like, personally?
Nah,
Just now. Oh god.
they was on the show.
Oh, no, bro.
And I seen a story on Twitter.
Oh, no.
Like a thread. About a person.
Oh, we gonna talk about this after the show.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Oh, we gonna talk about it.
I
I
need
meant to tell y'all, I forgot. I got to still my phone because I meant to send
Don't
it
worry,
to y'all.
folks. I'm here. I'm just about to charge my phone.
But there was somebody that was on our show recently, and Brantley had sent it to like me and John in the chat because I guess John knows the dude too, and he was like, "Yo, John, you follow this dude, right?" And John was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, look at what this chick is saying about him on Twitter." She had like a whole like little thread.
Oh, no.
So,
He got the thread treatment?
yeah, I was like, "Damn."
When Shorty, when everybody hits you with the thread treatment,
go viral,
it's over.
They went viral too?
No, I don't know. But it still has potential to go viral. You know, some shit be going viral like a month later. So.
Yeah, prayers up for that dude because, you know,
Yeah.
I got a homie too that was in a similar situation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when like guys like ask girls, like, "Let me get a picture." Like nowadays, like you can't do that because God forbid.
Yeah.
Like, you, and that person, that is guy the type of person to like put the girl out there.
I hate niggas.
That's what I'm saying. That's
one
corny.
thing. I hate niggas that like, yo, forever. Like I've been saying this since I was probably like 17. I always hated niggas that expose girls like when they send you a picture or even like show. Like,
Or
another
doing
nigga
sex.
picture or whatever. Like I never did that, especially like with my girl. Like if we in a talking stage and I know like, oh, you're gonna be my girl. I'm not about to sit here because I've been with niggas and be like, yo, look at. I'm like, yo, bro, ain't you like serious? I'm like, yo, sometimes like, I don't want to see that, bro.
Yeah.
And
Honestly,
it's like,
that's
if you
why
show it
I
to me,
can't-
maybe I want that, and then I'm like, bro.
That's why I can never get into
But I
recording.
never like. I always like hated that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I used to
right.
pictures for my personal use
Yeah.
or whatever.
Exactly.
That's why I can never get into recording my own sexual escapades. I can never get into that. Like, I can watch amateur porn all day. You know,
Yeah.
it's the hottest thing on the market.
I tried
But
to because you told me it was cool. I still can't get into it, bro.
You trash this now. Latina BBC.
Oh,
baby.
Like amateur porn, like,
Oh, yeah, like actual
we recording ourselves
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
posting it. Like
You gotta watch her have it vertical and not.
I seen one. It was cool. I was like, alright.
Don't watch the clips that are more than 2 minutes. It's supposed to, because they probably recording on Snapchat or whatever.
Or some shit.
You're right, the one I found was like a minute and 10 seconds.
See, that's the perfect length. That's good. That's you see the mix of everything there. But
funny.
So hey, shout out to all y'all doing that for our amusement. Our amusement, your pain. But I think the biggest thing, the biggest lesson once again is I think it's perfectly fine for anybody wanting to be private because both sides can be thirsty. Like I just think it's hypocritical once again because women are the masters of it.
I
Like,
did that this weekend.
What?
On my stand.
Pronto tea!
Just the person's hand.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you were getting food and then you saw.
Oh, so you saw like, the hands and
Yeah.
the foot and shit?
Saw like the bicep, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you see the whole
Work
body.
out.
It's like,
My son J.R. Smith is the go to that when he did it with Tahiri. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Damn, man.
We didn't basketball, but
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to think.
But he was messing with Tahiri one time when he was playing on the Knicks. And
Oh yeah, that's true.
on Twitter he posted, I think it was Instagram on Twitter, but he posted like laying in the bed when you know Tahiri like
Yeah.
so, she was just in like a thong. And you just see like his hand and some shit on her ass.
Oh, that's the signature picture
And when
too.
he posted that shit, I was
That's a great picture to take. Like that's.
honestly, anything with JR, just remember that they used to get a segment This is like a weird segue, but it used to be a segment with the Breakfast Club called The Decision. And this nigga JR was on that episode of that segment. Where basically he fucked another nigga's bitch. And man, run on there to be like, yo, I see my girl, man, looking on phone, like she mentioned some basketball player from like, you know, and you know, showing nigga trying to find out the team and shit. He's like, the team, the name and all that shit, right? But you know, you think they found it out, but they're not saying it because, you know, it's the fucking radio, so they're trying to keep that shit quiet. Then finally they call that nigga, they're like, oh, I know who this nigga is. They peep out the name real quick, and it's like, yo, I'm just like, damn, this nigga JR's like, fam, oh, that's your job? Oh, you know, I ain't do that shit. I ain't do that shit. But like, you know, it was mad funny. JR always be in a lot of situations.
Remember you trying to get the pipe.
But side note, because this next topic we have, this really intrigued me upon my moment of discovery. Michael Jackson and Tupac allegedly got in a fight in the 90s. AK, can you look up the story for me? So I'm a freestyle this off the top of my head. So I think, right, just in case people didn't know, Pac had like 2 meaningful relationships in his life in the 90s. He had one with a shorty that he married that ended while he was in jail for the sexual abuse charge. And then he had one with one of Quincy Jones' daughters. I think it was Kadia Jones or whatever. Check that for me, okay?
Kadia Jones?
Yeah. I think, who Tupac was with. Like, that was his last relationship before he passed away.
And they Tupac fight.
And pretty much, the story goes, right? They're at a party. Michael Jackson's apparently like the godfather or whatever to some of Quincy Jones's daughters, right? Because clearly they work together, Thriller, all that magic. So Tupac's girl, who is one of Michael Jackson's goddaughters, is sitting on his lap. But from when I heard that, I'm thinking, okay, sitting on his lap, like, you know, like family stuff, like you've had a little cousin or sister or whatever sitting in your lap in a friendly manner. And what happened after that was Tupac arrived at the party. And I think this is post-jail Tupac just signed with Death Row. So Pac goes to the party and Pac starts bugging out like, yo, what you doing sitting on Michael's lap? Pull shorty off. And him and Michael start getting into it, talking. And apparently what happened after was, because these dudes are now nose to nose talking and arguing it out, and I think both of them are short. Both of them are probably under 5'10". So Pac swings on Mike first. Mike allegedly ducks and hits Pac with a jab. Am I right so far, AJ? And then allegedly. Yeah, allegedly.
I know about the story.
Mike hits Pac with a jab, and then they start tussling on the ground. And then they got pulled off for each other, where they continue cursing and talking trash to each other. But long story short, I got Mike winning in the knockout.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Mike,
I got Mike winning in the knockout.
Red shirt.
Mike the red shirt be wild, man.
But look, red shirt or not.
No, he had it on.
Mike, to me, I think Mike was a monster for real.
Yeah.
I think the soft voice, you know.
Yeah, that was fake.
I just want to get all along each
Yeah,
other.
because remember, at the end of the day, my son is really dark skinned.
Yes.
No.
I really think Mike was like, for real, like a savage. Like,
Yeah, I heard that wasn't even like his real voice.
yeah, I heard Mike had
Show.
a deep voice. I just heard Mike.
I heard he talk like me.
Yeah.
I can hear it. I can see that.
I never heard Mike had a deep voice. That is.
No, yeah, people say that like
Yeah.
he didn't really talk like that.
This is
High
all-
voice.
So you just think for image? Damn. No, that's
I
not
speak
something
with
I'm
you
ready.
like this to understand where I'm coming from, but you gotta understand,
I'm a rude.
I will F you up if you mess with my money, Tito. I don't do that.
No, yeah.
Oh, you can tell too because of that red shirt.
I ain't thriller, goddammit. I will destroy you. But yeah, I got Mike winning.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
that.
And you know,
Pac probably holding a grudge. Mike Jack got up to
Pac was
heaven.
like,
He got up to heaven. Pac was like, this nigga.
I might have a restaurant in heaven too. Like, yo, fam, you want to do something about it? Let's go.
I think Pac was more of the wrestler type in a fight. I think Pac tried to use his low center of gravity to push himself down. I don't think Pac had
was
it.
going to be very untasteful, honestly, about Mike.
What?
He probably had a lot of practice with dodging.
Oh, gotcha. Joe Jackson. Fucking no.
He probably had a lot of practice with dodging, honestly.
Joe Jackson.
That's like Floyd.
Mike was probably an athlete.
Or like,
Like,
what was it, Little Kim, like, did you try to dance with me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can see that.
I mean, that's that shit too.
What's crazy was I've read up on like Michael Jackson groupie stories, and those are like the craziest stories. Like they said that boy Mike was slanging. They said Mike was hanging and he was slanging. They was like the song was just beside. I said, look at Mike, man. Mike could have been the next interracial porn star.
Yo! Nah, I'm not into interracial, first of all. That's what really got me, bro.
What?
He said interracial, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mike definitely. Mike's like a Ricky Johnson or whatever. I don't know. Those guys that pop up on my timeline on Twitter. But yeah, here's my last complaint about Twitter once again. You guys are making it hard for faithful Twitter users like me to open up my timeline in public.
Yo.
Because all y'all want to do is tweet cheeks getting clapped at 3 p.m. Relax. I'm working with kids. I'm trying to get updates on the score.
And like you can't even you can't even turn out sensitive images and shit like that because sometimes like some of the best tweets we consider sensitive image. And it's not even really just a couple bad words, maybe like a funny ass picture there and shit, but like
nah, they bugging on
they
the
be bugging the fuck out
timeline.
of that shit.
Like all of y'all horny. Like y'all great. Freak man, yeah, they are nasty. I'm like, bro, it's 3 o'clock. Relax. But yeah, I think Mike won, and I think Mike probably jabbed a couple cats in his life here.
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely did.
But for the last topic before we move on, we done told y'all that the streets was done without this man. Streets about to come back to life. Looking like 6ix9ine about to get that bail, baby.
Yes.
About to get that bail.
Yes.
Taylor's upset.
Nah, I need my man's back. For real, streets
He need to
been
be on
done.
the gram. They miss him on the gram.
For real.
Nah. And it's crazy too, like when he went in, like niggas still was viral. Even after he went in with that stupid, they're not gonna let you get the chance. Like nigga was still viral. Like man, I must have shared that talk about 6ix9ine. I can't lie. Nigga was funny.
Yeah,
and then nigga was
like Flex posted the whole Bell shit, and he was like, y'all can say what y'all want, but the gram ain't the same without him.
Yeah, it's not. It's
like every week I'm running it. Well, not running into somebody, but like people I be with, like somebody just randomly goes, man, I miss 6ix9ine on Instagram, and that nigga was funny.
And for real, and on a more serious note as well, bro, like, regardless of what you think about 6ix9ine's music, 6ix9ine was helping New York hip-hop out.
Yeah.
In terms of just pushing it to bigger levels, just because we need that representation. That's another topic.
And he was repping New York, like,
Yep.
like a lot, like A Boogie is big, but A Boogie, I mean, everybody knows where he's from, but he don't, like,
Rap
say
it, like,
6ix9ine always, nigga, I'm from New York, nigga, I'm from Brooklyn, nigga, you can't come to New York, like, shit like that, like.
Yeah.
No,
And for real, like, we'll talk about this on another day, but it's like, New York hip-hop, for as much as it's having a re-emergence, it sucks when we keep losing the cats who at the moment are like our biggest one-hit wonders, our biggest hit makers, go to jail. Like we went through that with Bobby and GS9. We freaking going through that now with Tekashi. It's trash, regardless of what you think of the music, because like it's helping us out more. Like these cats are bringing an additional spotlight that's probably the biggest in the city. Like it's like we need that. Like we need that in order for everybody else to keep going and to keep building, man.
That's a fact.
Nah, that's fast. And I think another thing too is that I noticed that a lot of the hip hop acts that we do have from New York, like I feel like it's like beginning with like new school type of acts.
Yeah.
It's like beginning with the ASAP Mob, like Poor Era kinda. ASAP Mob, they're from New York, but you couldn't really you didn't really get a New York feeling simply because he had that little, you know, trap, not a trap, my bad. What's what I'm looking for? Type of screw sound that used to sound a little bit right. Then you got the more era cats, you know, and shout out to them, like still, I still fuck with them heavy, but they were more like golden era, 90s, East Coast type shit. But Bobby, that's like the real first, like, yeah, this is how the youth sound like, this is how and why really sound like. Same shit with 6ix9ine, but then when you losing these niggas, and then, like, you really got the old niggas, like, you know, the A$AP Miles, they ain't really like repping like NY like they really should be. And then you got like niggas like, you know, the poor era cast not really dropping as much or maybe not making as better music than these new niggas are. It's like, damn, something
we're gonna save this.
They got some new niggas
for another day because we gotta have a deeper dive into this. And oh snap, somebody getting pulled over? Oh well, none of my business. It's none of my business. But yeah, that's all we have for today. Great episode, everybody. Episode 67 of Foresight. Once again, make sure you listen to us on iTunes. Pause, not iTunes. Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. We're working on the other links. Follow us on Instagram at Foresight Pod. Once again, huge shout out to It's The Real for giving us that huge shout out.
And shout out real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, let me make a huge shout out to Get Hit.
Yeah.
That's the joint she was on.
That's the joint I was
That's
on.
right. Foresight reps up.
Yeah, let me make a huge shout out to my boy Roz, the girl Tanasia. A few weeks ago, they had me out to Get Hip. That's like a little, you know, hip hop trivia show. Go, I mean, like, you know, speak of your little piece on like what you think is going on in the hip hop community at the time. So I just want to give them a huge shout out. Thank you for having me on. It was a dope experience.
That's right.
And I think the new episode is dropping this Saturday. So go check that shit out.
Guess what's being posted on the page?
No, I think I try my best. I try my best to do my representation as a New York hip hop episode. I can't lie. Some of the questions did trip me up. I'm ashamed of myself. I will do better next time. You feel me?
But you learn from me. That you learn how to speak better with me.
But you know, I was glad to be a part of it. So huge shout out to Get Hit.
Word. And let me also say this too. This is gonna come as a surprise to Taylor. But next month around Valentine's Day, we're gonna have Taylor, aka Primetime T, put on a special episode for us, man. We're gonna have a nice little R&B set or whatever where Taylor's gonna lay down the do's or don'ts.
The do's and don'ts.
For Valentine's Day.
Alright,
Things
ready
of that
to go.
nature. And yep, you guys already know, man, even in the new year, things don't change. Still gotta get after it like a bone in the chicken wing. Free the boys up top, free the boys down low. Free the boys up top, free the boys up top, free the boys down low. You already know how we rocking, man. And that's on folk. Talk to you guys next time.
Like a bone in the chicken wing.